Good morning. I am Reverend Peggy Petahtegoose. I am with the Tree of Life Interfaith Temple in Milford, New Hampshire, for those of you who may not know exactly where we are. You see a little smoke here. I'm going to offer each of you a virtual smudging because I have found that this little bit of traditional medicine from my ancestors helps me get through a day and calms my nerves, and I just feel that in this time we are all in need of some calming. So while I have offered that, I'm just going to put that off to the side for a few minutes. So as a minister and offering service, we're called to come up with a theme, and I often struggle with that because I tend to live in the present moment, and it's difficult sometimes to project forward. But the other day, my cousin was telling me that she had put the design on a t-shirt while a bunch of us were sharing our powwow t-shirts, because for us as natives, powwow is extremely important. That's our church, basically. And so we were sharing our t-shirts, and she was telling me that she had designed it. And the theme that year, which was 2009, was mourning our losses, past and present. And I just knew that that was kind of meant as a message for me. So I've asked you if you would like to gather photos of loved ones around you, or to keep them with you in heart or spirit. And I'm going to offer prayers and some, I think, very timely music. We are living in this wild, crazy time. And it just seems like it's having a snowball effect of the last couple of years of one world and Mother Earth to our actual physical bodies that we navigate with in this particular part of our journey in our life. So I would like to read you a meditation. It's from the Tao tradition. And yes, if my voice sounds, what's the word I'm looking for? A little uneasy or not smooth, it is because I am, like most of us, living with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of inner negative energies and heaviness. So we're going to try to bring us all into a more peaceful place. Maybe you are already there, but I know as I navigate through my day, I do find, whether I'm here at home or at work, that people are not themselves. It's very difficult to be ourselves in this time. So this is about continuation. Upon completion comes fulfillment. With fulfillment comes liberation. Liberation allows you to go on. Even death is not a true ending. Life is infinite continuation. Always finish what you start. That alone is discipline and wisdom enough. If you can follow that rule, then you will be superior to most people. When you come to the end of a cycle, a new one will begin. You might say that completion actually begins somewhere in the middle of a cycle, and that new beginnings are engendered out of the previous actions. Completing a cycle means fulfillment. It means that you have achieved self-knowledge, discipline, and a new way of understanding yourself and the world around you. You cannot stop there, of course. New horizons are always there, but you can reach out for those new vistas with fresh assurance and wisdom. With each turn of the wheel, you go further. With each turn of the wheel, you free yourself from the mire of ignorance. With each turn of the wheel comes continuation. Turn the wheel of your life. Make complete revolutions. Celebrate every turning and persevere with joy. So, I'm going to ask Stephanie play a song. It's by a gentleman. His name is Narco. And it's the song called Love Letters to God. I feel that it really touches our time and where we are in our life. So just take a moment to rest your feet comfortably on the ground. Sit up straight. Rise and just take it in.
Always give what you can, even if your eye lost your lines in the sand, and dig. Always dig a little deeper. Sometimes it's hard to be my brother's keeper. Love, so you let love in. Baby, I am home in the wake of your skin, and it's crazy how we wear a ceremony. Always be open to your path and your journey. Yes, she cradles my loneliness. A home at a forest nest. Universal test. Feel the weight of my love. Put your hand on my chest and rest. In the cradle of my arms, the battle that we face is a place where our scars come from. And to pick up the gun, my love, we are destined to teach these ones to be brave and never run away. Courage is birthed from the womb on the first light of day. Yeah, the day you were born, you came out perfect, never meant to be torn in silence. Never been so loud in the violence, never been so proud of our people. When we're fighting for a change, not afraid to lose it all, despite all the rage. We are animals, and we cannot be caged. Provoke us to fight, so we burn a little sage and write poetry. Wiser than the enemy will ever be. The minority and authority. Are you here to protect or arrest me? I can't tolerate the hate and I'm losing sleep. Can't breathe cause they're choking out a war in me. Immorality, yeah. Love letters to God. human souls. So we carve them into story totem poles, cause we're always searching for a certain goal, a pattern of physics, a role. Don't believe all you're told, and open up your fist. A misconception, you can fight like this and praise. With the power of prayer, if God's on our side, we can take the stairs to the heavens. Flipping through my chapter 7, I live with the snakes and the great deception. No court in this country for men who steal from the mother on paper with pen, and we're tripping down a red dirt road, and we're asking, is this the way we should go? Kissing soft top feet, oh my God, this we walk the earth, baby, yeah, we got this focus, and it's redirected, grateful, and I'm resurrected, stubborn, but I know the way. You're the skin on my drum to your rhythm, I will sway. Take my hand, I won't lead you astray. We will not go deadly into the darkest of days. Grandma's here, and she says persevere. Take a walk in her marks, leaves a trail of tears, and our fears are the same as the everywhere fears. And I'm the pain of a Holocaust years, always moving in motion. Maybe being not another notion. Your arches, how they bend and contract on my conscience, and never slip through the grip of my thesis. And my theory is the shine in your presence. I deliverance, yeah. Love letters to God. Our new series and they get lost in the stars. So many parts to a heavy heart. If there's no beginning, then where would you start? Where would you start?
Okay, Miigwech, thank you, Stephanie, for helping with that. I had that song before in another service. I just find the words so powerful. Love letters to God. That's a long lost art, I think, writing love letters. We should bring them back. But they can also be prayers. And there are many ways for us to offer our prayers, whether it's out loud and verbally or silently in our hearts, written. But we need to offer prayers to one another, to those around us that we don't even know, to the world, to the earth, all my relations. All my relations does not just mean other human beings. All my relations includes the earth and all the water, plants, the animals, the rocks, the rivers, the spirits. There is not one entity within this spectrum that is not affected by, okay, let's call it the white elephant in the room. This pandemic is just so beyond our scope of imagination for most of us. Ignorance is bliss. I almost wish I were still living in the bush on a small tribe deep in the jungle of somewhere on this beautiful earth. Because get up each day and deal with all of the emotional effects that go along with this pandemic is truly overwhelming. I'm not a person who watches TV a lot. Occasionally I watch the news when something this big is going around because I do feel it's important for me to know. So I would like to share with you, oops, that's not the paper. So within our native tradition, or my native tradition, we live by 7 grandfather teachings. And I would like to share with you what those look like in the world regarding this pandemic. Respect. Acknowledge the courage of workers and leaders who, despite their fear and risks they face, support essential services and make it possible to maintain them. Honor the values of cooperation and respect that are handed down from generation to generation in our nations. Honesty. Respect the confinement and the quarantine measures if you have symptoms or if you are at risk of having caught this virus. Honestly, answer public questions or public health authorities in order to prevent the spread of this virus. Humility. Do whatever is necessary, not only to protect your health, but also that of everyone around you. Be generous towards those who need help and be ready to support and assist and listen to them. Truth. Be truthful when you share information and focus on facts and reality, even if it is difficult to do so. Wisdom. Adopt a positive attitude and be confident about the future. Respect the directions set out by the local authorities to protect your family, elders, vulnerable people, and members of your community. Courage. Bravely face the challenges in your life and accept situations with resilience and integrity. Consider the sacrifices made over the past few weeks and months and have the strength to hang on. Love. Be kind and support and share your love with family, friends, and those that you hold dear. And stay in touch with your family by any means, phone, Facebook, video, and take advantage of each moment that you spend with them. So yes, we're all in a new place in this world. And we all trying to find that way that works for us to communicate with those ones who are normally part of our day-to-day life, and now we can't see them or hold them. And that's really hard because I think we've come to that point where we realize how interconnected we all are as human beings. Our spirit requires one another. Our spirits seek one another for comfort and acknowledgement that we exist. Getting a hug from somebody that is so dear to you is going to be one of the most precious gifts you'll probably receive in this, when the clearing comes, that we can go and visit one another without hesitation. One of the other really defining moments for me, and for those of us who live in New Hampshire with our little 18 miles of coastline, was a month and a half ago when they shut the beaches down, and it felt like a lifeline had been cut off. And it is, because we are all part water. The earth survives. We all survive because of water. I think the next big moment was on, I want to say May 24th. Yes, May 24th. The New York Times posted a list of the 100,000 people whom we've lost in the United States. It doesn't include all the lives across the world. In this article titled "The Incalculable Loss," they actually named those people. 33 pages of the New York Times. I'm not a reader of the New York Times. I can't even tell you where this came up, how it came into my vision. But I appreciated what they tried to do, and I feel that it would be an impossible task. Is within that 100,000 names, they tried to give descriptions of 1,000 of the people who've been taken. They got these, they had to really spend a lot of time on this, because they had to sift through all of these obituaries and I know I wrote the number down, how many newspapers and magazines and articles, how many obituaries they had to go through. So being me, I remember things better if I write them down. And so I was scrolling through on the computer. And I started to write down what some of these people did in their lifetime. And I got about 4 or 5 pages worth of writing these, just little snippets from everybody's obituaries. And I realized I couldn't do this. This was an enormous task. But from that, I want to just take a few descriptions of all of the souls that we've lost to this COVID-19 pandemic. So that I'm just going to read a few of them. And I don't honestly know if anyone of our group here today has been affected by this with their own loved one, or their loss of someone they even just know remotely. But relished his role as a mentor, a pioneer in promotional products industry, Grammy-winning country music star, a former speaker of the Utah House, Walmart worker, ran an animal hospital, a shot put champion, transgender immigrant activist, the surgeon who separated conjoined twins, always rode a Harley Davidson. Sharecropper's son, a former nurse, an ordained minister, someone who liked his bacon and hash browns crispy, was a member of the Franciscan monastery, wife with little time to enjoy a new marriage. Loved travel, mahjong, and crush. Immigrated from the Ukraine. Loved big and told people she loved them all the time. I can't possibly go on and read all of just the ones I wrote, but somehow just writing that brought me closer to offering them a prayer. Yes, we all do have to pray. So, sorry, stepped up for just one more second. This is a little part of what the New York Times also said regarding this list, which I tend to find things in simpler ways of expressing. And there are others who are more eloquent, so that's why I share this. This highly contagious virus has forced to suppress our nature as social creatures for fear that we might infect or be infected. Among many indignities, it has denied us the grace and the present for the loved ones lost last moments. Age-old customs that lend meaning to our existence have been upended, including the sacred ritual of how we mourn. Before we came together in halls and bars and places of worship to remember and honor our dead, we recited prayers, raised glasses, and retold family stories so funny they left us nodding and crying throughout laughter. In those vital moments of communion, it could feel as though the departed were with us one last time, briefly resurrected by the sheer power of our collective love, to share that closing prayer, that parting glass, that final hug. Even in horrible times of war, hurricane, and terrorist attacks that seemed to crumble the ground beneath our feet, we at least had time-tested ways of grieving that helped take the first hesitant step forward. Not now. Now, for most of those who died in the past few months, there were no large gatherings of consolation and recited prayers for peaceful rest. The obituaries that filled the local newspapers, Facebook, read like an unending roll call of the corona's dead. Every death notice, virus related or not, seemed to close with, due to health concerns and restrictions on gatherings. There will be no funeral services at this time. A celebration of life will be held at a time to be announced. Virtual memorial services was held instead, perhaps with mourners praying into laptop screens, followed by burial, perhaps with masked mourners watching from their cars as another coffin was received by the earth. In a large sense, the suspense of our familiar burial, cremation, reflected what life in a pandemic has been like. The absence of any clear end. Even the dead have to wait. For now, all we can do is hold our collective breath, inch towards some approximation of how things were, and try to process a loss of life greater than what the U.S. incurred in several decades of war from Vietnam to Iraq. Over 100,000 in the U.S., over 500,000 worldwide. It's devastating, it's heartbreaking. And I have to wonder, we look at how do we survive this? We have to survive it with prayers and faith and grace and honoring one another by taking care to do the right thing. All these people have lost their lives. And let's not forget that at the same time, there are still others who are passing to the spirit world from all kinds of other illnesses and diseases and other places of darkness that I'm not going to go to right now. So is there any hope? Is there any hope for beauty and uplifting of our hearts and of our weary souls? And I would say yes. Because there are so many people out there who step up to the plate in times of need, offering donations and their time and food and services. And I would just like to, bring into gifts from 173 years ago that have been returned more than threefold. In 1847, Ireland was suffering a potato famine, starving to death. The Navajo and Hopi Nation sent $170 to help them to get food. The Navajo and Hopi Nation in March sent $670,000. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Irish people, they sent in March $670,000 to help aid the Navajo and Hopi Nation that is being devastated by this disease, this virus. In 2017, there was a beautiful ceremony, a dedication ceremony for a sculpture called Kindred Spirits that is up in County Cork, Ireland. It's a series of huge, beautiful feathers standing up to the sky. So the Irish and the native nations of this country have had to survive these world crisis situations in the past. But 7 generations ago, there was a gift given, a life-giving gift. And now that is being returned much more than 3-fold or 7-fold to help another nation. So that's a grand scale. And then there are others who are offering simple donations of toilet paper. So I would like to offer another song for you to consider listening to the words. It's called Carry Me Home by Raising Appalachia. And Stephanie's going to turn that on for us.
My body from the sky. Oh, they're calling me home. They're calling me Bongay, yeah, Bongay. Ah, yeah, Bongay, yeah, Bongay, yeah, Bongay. Ah, yeah, Bongay, yeah, Bongay, yeah, Bongay. Ah, yeah, Bongay, yeah, Bongay. Yeah, yeah, bongay. Ah, yeah, bongay. Bongay, yeah, yeah, bongay. Yeah, yeah, bongay. Yeah, kaya, bongay, saya, bongay, yeah, bongay. Bongay, yeah, yeah, bongay. Yeah, yeah, bongay. Yeah, kaya, bongay, saya, bongay, yeah, bongay. Yeah, 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 bongay. Ah, 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 no friendly bongay, honest dying. Held my head to his bony and he whispered, as I bent my oh, they're calling me home. They're calling me home.
They're calling me home. So yes, loss is very sad and heavy on the heart. But at the same time, they're being called home. That's not for us to decide. And so now I'll offer a contemplation on no coming, no going by Zen Buddhist master Thich Nhat Hanh. This body is not me. I am not limited by this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I have never died. Look at the ocean and the sky filled with stars. Manifestations from my wondrous, true mind. Since before time, I have been free. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass. Sacred thresholds on our journey. Birth and death are a game of hide and seek. So laugh with me, hold my hand. Let us say goodbye. Say goodbye to meet again soon. We meet today. We will meet again tomorrow. We meet at the source every moment. And we meet each other in all forms of life. There are so many ways to pray. So I'll ask you now to just say, "We remember you," after each reading. I'm going to read a prayer called Remembrance Prayer by Rabbi Sylvan Kamens, or Kamans. And your response is, "We remember you." At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember you. At the blowing of the wind and the chill of the winter, we remember you. At the opening of the buds and the rebirth of spring, we remember you. In the blueness of the sky and the warmth of the summer, at the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, at the beginning of the year and when it ends. As long as we live, you too will live, for you are now part of us as we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember you. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember you. When we are feeling lost and sad of heart, we remember you. When we have joys we wish to share, we remember you. So long as we live, you too will live, for you are a part of us as we remember you. Clearly, there's a whole world of prayers and love for those of us, or for those that have departed, to the spirit world. We're never alone. They walk with us in our heart. I have one more offering, call and response chant for peace. Peace in our hearts, minds, bodies, souls. It's new to me, but it was very moving when I heard it. Stephanie will turn that on for us. We'll say shalom.
Oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom. Oh, say shalom, oh, say shalom. Shalom.
So I hope you've been filled with some peace. And I would say, walk in beauty, be kind, remember that you're always loved and you're not alone. And I would offer you a different way of saying goodbye. We don't really want to say goodbye. So say Bamapi. Bamapi. Until we meet again. Satnam. Miigwech for joining me. And hopefully we can be all at the Tree of Life Interfaith Temple together physically in these bodies soon, whatever that looks like. Satnam.